Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about something that I particularly can relate to. Sorry if my hair looks bad, I'm just a tired Kenyan from work and I can't arrest it. Well, where to start? Now, there's a certain Instagram page, it's called Painful Quotes, and I want to particularly talk about people who can relate to the posts that are posted there, and not entirely, but they're just some that I find questionable. And because of that, I want to take you through some of them. That personally, I feel if we get, the correct guidance, if we have the correct information, then perhaps we won't actually be happy to relate to such kind of posts. And I just have three samples here. So the first one says, sorry. You can actually see the post here. It's a screenshot. It says, sorry, now I understand I was only the worst part in your life. And then the other one is blocked. I know I'm blocked, but still I'm waiting for your call and message. And then the last one that I want to use as our sample says, sad but true. Teach me how to ignore you as you ignore me. Well, this topic today is particularly of interest to me. If you've been following me, you know that most of my videos are quite fast-paced, but I'm taking my time here because I feel that this is something that particularly needs to be talked about. And like I said, it's something that I can relate to because it's something that I personally went through. Now, when we meet people, we are always good-willed and we hope to get the best from the relationships. Unfortunately, sometimes we get attached to those people to the extent that we forget who we are. In terms of, you find yourself asking questions like, if this person ever leaves me, what's going to become of me? Or I can't imagine my life without you. Even the people who are always like, promise me you'll never leave me, promise me, blah, blah, blah. You understand where I'm coming from. So it's personal to me because not so long ago, I met someone and the relationship was quite well, and of course there are also some other factors that of course led to this kind of situation. It's unfortunate that most of the time when we meet people, we're hoping that those are gonna be the loves of our lives and it's gonna end with them. And this is not just for romantic relationships alone, this is generally for all human relationships that we form. You meet someone and then you get attached in such a way that you feel like you cannot handle your life without them. So I was in such kind of a situation, and I decided to seek help because it was becoming a bother to me. And we used to even talk with the person, and it is during one of those discussions that whoever told me that perhaps I was having an attachment problem. Well, it was we, because the kind of relationship where you're with someone and then you part ways, you come back together and stuff like that. Yeah. So the guy was like, I think what we have is an attachment problem. So I took it upon myself to go research what is an attachment problem. I went online, decided to search for attachment, and what stood out is there's a word that is added to it, insecure attachment. So that's what we're going to be talking about, insecure attachment. And have you ever, like, you're looking at something and everything that is described in the video really talks about you. Everything is just pointing towards you. So first of all, I was looking at characteristics of insecurely attached people, and believe you me, I fitted almost all the characteristics. And at that time I was like, then there's a really big problem here, because I thought it's a good thing to feel like someone is completely a part of your life, but shock on me, because I realized, well, it shouldn't be like that. So I want to share with us a few tips that will help us with detachment. And in this case, you're not looking at detachment to the extent that we have to cut people off or be rude to people. No, we're looking at secure attachment in terms of how to relate with people, and we don't lose ourselves in the process. And so like I said, I have my notebook here, and from the various sources that I was able to look at, and I want to give a shout out mostly to two YouTube channels that helped me much, and this is The Wizard Liz and one other channel by somebody called Margarita. Nazarenko. These two helped me a lot, and now I don't have any insecure attachments because I know where I stand as a person. So I have close to 9 points, and I'm taking my time because I want us to really understand what's being talked about here. So the first thing is when you are attached to something, it means that that thing controls you, and therefore it has the power to, make you feel however, and therefore as a person you have no control over your feelings or your emotions, meaning that if you're attached to someone, for example, that person can make you mad, that person can make you happy. The second tip that I got to learn is that we need to stop creating fantasies about people or situations, because this makes them what they're not, and if they act contrary to our expectations, then we're bound to get upset. And yet the truth is we allowed ourselves to get into that situation because we gave those people more power, we idolize them, and so if they don't act according to how we expect them, then we feel upset. And so we need to know that things will never be really perfect, but they'll always just be good enough. So let's just work with things the way they are. Thirdly is when dealing with people, we need to have an it is what it is mentality. This is whereby we have to work with what works, and if something doesn't work, then we let it go. Okay, so we are not forcing issues. That's what we mean here. And because we can never predict what happens, then we just have to take it as it comes, because even if you don't, life moves on, and so the sooner we get used to the idea, the better. And then number three, is fourth actually, is do not operate on the lack concept. And by this we need to learn that as human beings we are complete just the way we are, and nobody needs anyone to complete them. Because most of the time when you look at a person and you feel like, this is my idol, this is my god, this person will make my life happy, this person will make me complete, that is where we get it wrong. Because as people we are born sufficient, and people or things just come to add value into our lives, but they do not define our worth. So we need to really understand that we as a people, we are complete, and we don't need anybody to complete us. And so we have to be willing to let go of what doesn't want to belong to us. And the other thing is that we have to believe that we can have more and have better. So I've talked about the fact that it's good to let go. So once we let go, we need to believe that we can always have better and we can always have more. You have no capacity for people who belittle you. If anything, somebody who accepts you, somebody who makes you appreciable, somebody who sees the value in you. And so if somebody doesn't see that in you, then it's their loss. Okay, because one way or another, people will always find value. So somebody who doesn't see the good in you, most of the time it's not that you're not good, they just don't want to see it. So don't make it your problem, it's actually theirs. And if they're okay with losing you, then it's their loss, it's not yours. Attached to that is also that people have a purpose to serve in our lives. Everybody who comes to our lives has a purpose to serve, and sometimes even the purpose is to remind us that we're stupid and we make very silly mistakes, or we make bad decisions. Even that is a lesson, but that's just on the light note. So some people just come to elevate you in a certain way. There are people who will just come to teach you a very specific lesson. Everybody has a purpose to serve in our lives. So once a person decides to live, then it means their purpose is complete. And so instead of asking ourselves or questioning the eventualities of situations, then we need to really appreciate them and ask ourselves, what is it that we learned from this circumstance? What is it that I've been able to learn from this person? And then take those as building blocks to make yourself better. That means that we need to see the value in every relationship that we make, because it's never a loss. The other thing is that we need to know that happiness can never or is never destination. So if you're in constant pursuit of happiness, then perhaps you might not attain it, because we need to be content with what and where we are. And we also need to know that the happiness that we are seeking from other people is already within. The happiness that you're seeking from other people is already within. And so we need to just learn perhaps how to discover it. And we should be glad for everything, because sometimes we don't give ourselves credit, even the tiniest that is worth celebrating. The other thing is, and this is also very important, is that you will never you. From the time you're born, when you're forming relationships, when everything else is happening, you will always have you, you've always had you. And so what we should really be focusing on is building ourselves, discovering so much stuff about ourselves. We need to work on ourselves. You need to heal yourself, especially if you feel like you're insecurely attached to someone, because once you are secure within yourself, then you won't be afraid that anyone is gonna leave you, because you know that you already have you. The other important point that I was able to gather was that, and this is really important, you meet friends, and of course you discuss your interests, you discuss what makes you happy at different levels in life. And most of the time, maybe you meet up with your friends and you're gonna watch a movie, or you're gonna read a book, or anything that friends do. So instead of declaring your own interest or telling the people what particularly interests you, you go along with what other people suggest. You do not have to rush to fit into the paradigms of other people's realities. Also be expressive. Tell people what you like. Tell people what interests you, because the danger of not doing that is that eventually you'll be able to lose yourself, and you'll often find yourself replaceable. I'm sure nobody wants to be dispensable, and of course we know that nobody is indispensable, but well, we need to try. Let people know about you. Create your own realities in other people's lives, because if you don't do that, it means that you're offering nothing new, and so there's nothing unique that people will be able to get from you. And then last but not the least, and this is the point that particularly got me, and it was really a wake-up call. One Wizard Liz, I think I mentioned her before. She was like, get a life. She was like, really insecurely attached people, or if you're attached to someone, then you don't have a life. So her advice was get a life, because she was like, where on earth do you get the time to think about other people? Where on earth do you have the time to focus on the lives of other people? Where on earth do you get the time to even think about what other people are thinking about you? So the main message was, you need to get a life, because according to her, then those people who are attached or insecurely attached, they have, well, I'm saying we, because I was in that particular situation. Sometimes they don't have life. And her advice is that we need to be about ourselves. And all that got me, because the truth is, if you are up to someone's business, it's actually unattractive, it is embarrassing, it is desperate, and you absolutely have no reason to focus on other people's lives and what they think about us. You need to ascertain it in yourself. You need to be sure. You need to know that you're complete just the way you are, and you don't need any validation from anyone. And maybe the last thing that I'd like to say is something that I've already mentioned, is that people come into our lives not to give us worth, not to define our worth, but they come to just add value. And so we should not give people much more power to the extent that we forget ourselves. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to share with us. I hope this video has been helpful. I hope you've been able to learn something from the same, and I hope that henceforth, after you've watched this video, will be able to relate with people and get securely attached. So thank you for watching. Until next time, it's bye for now.